So, today we're going to dive into this really powerful philosophy on finding happiness. And it's not about chasing it out there in the world, but about discovering it right where you are, inside yourself. You know the feeling, right? It's like you're convinced that if you can just get that one more thing, the promotion, the new car, a little more recognition, then you'll finally feel content. But somehow, the finish line just keeps moving further away. So let's get into why that happens, and more importantly, what we can do about it. Well, this endless chase has some classic symptoms. And it's not just about wanting more money, it's this deeper, unquenchable thirst. It's that constant need to prop up our ego, right? Getting caught in comparing ourselves to others, which just leads to jealousy. And all of this creates this gnawing anxiety, this fear of what we have and what we don't. It's a whole cycle, really. And it's all fueled by looking for validation from everyone else, when it can only truly come from within. Okay, so this state of constantly chasing something, what do we actually call it? Well, according to this philosophy, it's not just about habit. It's something we can actually diagnose. The core of the problem is called a delusion, or in Sanskrit, muda. That's pronounced muda. And really, it's the fundamental mistake of thinking that external stuff, like our possessions, our status, or even getting likes online, is the key to lasting fulfillment. This isn't just a small miscalculation. It's described as a kind of foolishness that just keeps us feeling hungry and unsatisfied, no matter what we get. And this is exactly what happens when we're caught in that delusion. Our own mind, the very thing that should be our greatest tool, turns against us. It starts running the show, dictating our emotions, driving us towards constant anxiety. Essentially, it becomes a terrible master instead of a helpful guide. And this slide just lays it out so perfectly. Look at the left side. When your mind is the master, you get played by your own thoughts. And that leads to this whole cascade of negative feelings. But now look at the right. When you are the master, you get to play with your mind. And the result? It's a total 180. Calmness, peace, joy, clarity. It all comes down to one simple question. Who's really in charge of your inner world? Okay, so if delusion is the problem, what's the solution? Well, it's a powerful idea that honestly gets misunderstood all the time. It's contentment. But hold on. Before we even define what contentment is, let's be super clear about what it's not. Contentment does not mean giving up. It's not about becoming lazy or just losing all your ambition. It's definitely not about checking out of your life. That's probably the single biggest misconception out there. All right, so here's the real deal. Contentment is an active, really powerful state of being. It's that deep sense of peace you get from knowing you've put in your absolute best, honest effort, and then finding joy in whatever comes from that work. It's about disconnecting your happiness from a specific outcome and instead finding it in a process and gracefully accepting the results. This table breaks down the difference so well. Think about it. Worldly happiness is kind of like a sugar rush, right? It comes from the outside, it doesn't last, and pretty soon you need another hit, and that just leads to stress and anxiety. But inner contentment? That's totally different. It's self-sustaining. It comes from inside you, it lasts, and the result is this incredible sense of peace and, even carefreeness. All right, so we get the what and the why, but the million-dollar question is how. How do we actually start cultivating this inner contentment? Let's walk through the practical steps to mastering your inner world. So, step one is all about challenging your mind. This means you have to actively question its little demands. Ask yourself, why do I really need this person's approval? Where is this jealousy actually coming from? Then, step two is shifting from being a victim of your thoughts to just an observer. You learn to entertain your mind, watch its crazy antics like they're just clouds passing by without getting carried away by them. And finally, step three, and this is huge, is to unify yourself. You bring your inner thoughts and feelings in line with what you actually say and do. And that quote right there, it just nails that third step. A dual personality is that super stressful state where you feel one thing on the inside, but you act completely different on the outside. When you get rid of that internal conflict, when you become truly authentic, you find this incredible sense of calm because you're just not at war with yourself anymore. When you start to really get a handle on your inner world, something amazing begins to happen. Your whole perspective on what life is even for starts to shift. We're taught from day one that life is all about getting more money, more accomplishments, more stuff. But this way of thinking completely flips that idea on its head. The real journey isn't about adding more things to your life. It's about discovering what's already in your life, inside you. And there it is. The ultimate prize isn't something you can buy or win or put on a resume. It's self-discovery. It's the journey of understanding who you truly are, completely separate from all the external labels and achievements we spend our whole lives chasing. So, after all that, what's the real reward? What do you actually get from this journey of self-discovery? It's not a bigger house or a fancier job title. No, it's something so much more valuable. It's freedom. Freedom from that constant anxiety and stress. It's a deep, abiding sense of peace. It's lasting happiness, real clarity, and unlocking this wellspring of kindness and love that just comes from inside you without needing it from anyone else. So, I want to leave you with this one last question to really think about. In a world that's obsessed with measuring success by what we have, what if the true measure of a life well lived is found in who we become on the inside? What if our character, our peace of mind, and our wisdom are the real treasures we should be looking for?